Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News Emergency Edition, because today I am very excited to be able to bring you news I have been looking forward to bringing you someday for literally years, and that is that it has been announced that we are getting our first Law adaptation, a movie based off of Joe Abercrombie's Best Served Cold. Yes, my personal favorite of any of the First Law standalones and maybe of any First Law book. Just a moment as a fan. Before I get into my thoughts, though, on adapting Best Served Cold first from the First Law universe, I'm going to go over who exactly has been announced to be involved with this project so far. First of which is Tim Miller is set to direct the Skydance adaptation. And I'm even more excited to say that Rebecca Ferguson, yes, from Dune, Doctor Sleep, and so much more, Mission Impossible, is in final talks to star. I think Rebecca Ferguson absolutely destroyed it as Lady Jessica in the Dune adaptation. She was so charming and charismatic as Rose the Hat in Doctor Sleep. I've been looking forward to watch her in Silo, and overall, in terms of actresses being cast in fantasy films, yeah, I'm gonna chalk this up there with really damn good. Now, in terms of Tim Miller as a director, I'm a bit more just curious on that decision. I haven't loved every Tim Miller directed project I've seen, certainly not Terminator Dark Fate, but he proved himself to have an interesting eye for action in Deadpool, and the 3 episodes of Love, Death, Robots he's directed were all quality episodes of Love, Death, Robots. Though he didn't direct Mason's Rats, which I assumed he would have, having that episode being written by Joe Abercrombie, but no, he did not. I just assumed he was a fan and he would have directed that one, I don't know. But in terms of Best Cold Served itself being adapted into a film, and this being the wider audience's introduction to the First Law universe, I actually think it's the right decision to make. I've made it well known that while I like every single First Law book, the first book in the First Law trilogy, The Blade itself, is not the strongest of Joe Abercrombie's books, and it's lacking a bit in terms of plot, whereas the character is still stronger than ever if you're going to introduce a lot of people to a big cast of characters and get them invested in a universe like people have successfully done with Lord of the Rings or A Song of Ice and Fire. I think taking a bit more narrative-driven story as Best Served Cold is the right move. And I don't see one of the standalones being adapted first as a problem really at all, because the few bits and scenes, keeping it spoiler-free, there certainly are things tangentially related to the main overarching plots and characters of First Law within Best Served Cold, but I don't think you can't write around those or just include them and have them be better explained later on in future film adaptations with much difficulty at all. And I just feel kind of spoiled because it's maybe my favorite First Law book, and I'm just like, hell yeah. Joe Abercrombie on Twitter also said that things could still go wrong and this might not happen. Don't get too excited. No, I'm going to get excited, and you can't stop me. I'm gonna just believe this is gonna happen and it's gonna be great, and anything short of that will crush me. Why? Because I'm a fan of you, Joe. That means I like emotional pain. Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for it. Hurt me. And if you're watching this video and somehow don't know who Joe Abercrombie is or what the First Law universe is, Lord Grimdark, as he calls himself on Twitter, and has said that he kind of regrets that handle because he considers it a bit, whatever now. For what it's worth, I stand by that label for Joe Abercrombie. There is no one who has done Grimdark as addictively as Abercrombie, in my opinion. He's a fantasy author who's known for keeping the fantasy to a minimal and putting his characterization in the spotlight. Characters like Glokta, or in my opinion, yes, the under-talked about Monza, are largely regarded as some of the most disturbing yet fascinating characters to follow in modern fantasy. It was in one of my First Law reviews that I talked about how I have yet to meet a single George R.R. Martin fan who has been given an Abercrombie book who did not like the First Law universe equally or more. So to see a world I've thought for so long finally get the chance at achieving that mainstream success that can come with a successful film adaptation with a director who I'm interested in and a potential star who not only has extraordinary star power behind them, but overall fits the role of the character quite well in terms of what I know type of performance they can bring, it's a good place to start. It's a fun day in fantasy news when I get to go, haha! Good news, everyone! No buts yet. Though it was my first response when I saw this news to tweet holy butthole because it happened to me live on Twitch. Here's a clip. Wait, what? I'm pretty sure I'm being trolled right here, but I need to check regardless. Holy f***. Rebecca Ferguson is in final talks to star in Best Served Cold, a new film based on Joe Abercrombie's best-selling book of the same name, which Tim Miller will direct for Skydance. I think the Berserk video is going to be delayed a day because I need to not release this and instead get out a fantasy news, and I will just finish this tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of Fantasy News Emergency Edition. Let me know what you think of the news that we are getting. Yes, our first Law adaptation in the live action in the comments down below. Check out the Kickstarter for my upcoming supernatural cyberpunk book, Neon Ghosts. Or if you don't want one of the standard or deluxe hardback editions, you can go ahead and pre-order a paperback or the audiobook or ebook now at your preferred retailer. Except for the audiobook, which is still exclusively to Audible. But have a good one, y'all. Peace.